Hello. I turned up the volume. I hope that helps on the videos. I always turn the volume on my audio. Sometimes I forget the video, so I hope the videos are good. It's late, but I'm here. It's technically Saturday morning, but it's Friday night, and we're reading from Black People's Prison Survival Guide by Abdullah Ibrahim, 2003. And the last thing I did was mental health. I put that behind the paywall. You have to join my Patreon to get that. If you're watching videos, but if you're listening to my podcast, you got it. So now we're going to deal with family because this is important. What happens to family when people are in prison? Family. The importance of the family bond cannot be overemphasized. The connections between us and our families need to be strengthened. No matter what the given set of circumstances, family is what we are linked to, not only in name, but spiritually as well. After our Creator, family should be our primary source of strength to draw from. If you look around, all you see are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. We are all linked to a family system, no matter how good or bad. America's slave system was responsible for the destruction of the black family. The destruction of our families was the first thing that the oppressors did to our people. They sold off from one another. They sold us off from one another. The same thing is done by the American penal system in this day and age. Prisons sell us off from those that we love. Time and distance plays havoc upon what ties of family that we may have. The reason why most prisons are located in rural areas is not only to provide jobs to impoverished people, but because they isolate, in most cases totally, inner city blacks locked up in them from their loved ones. When a person is isolated, they are easier to control. No one is there to question what happens to that person. This allows the racist white authorities to basically have their way. In New York City, most of our people are going upstate. And upstate in New York State, it's like two different states. It might as well be two different states. New Jersey is closer to New York City than upstate New York. So they were trying to build more jails in communities to keep the people closer to their families. And the funny thing is, the racists in the city didn't want the jails in their neighborhood so they couldn't do it, even though the prisons upstate are racist. So you had racist people, well, I guess they both races working together because they didn't want it to leave, but the ones down here didn't want it to come into the neighborhood. But the problem is, if you bring the prisons into the neighborhood, you bring resources into neighborhoods. But people just don't want it. I think there's one that was built near Pickett Avenue, but I don't know if any others were actually built. Let's go back to the reading. The state of Ohio is notorious for its program for the destruction of black family ties. Practically all of Ohio's prisons are located in rural areas. Black prisoners are routinely sent to prisons hundreds of miles away from their homes to render them inaccessible to connected family members. Limitations are placed on the number of persons who may visit. Conjugal visits are non-existent. Prisoners are given added time to their sentences when they go up for parole. This causes less committed family members to desert their cause. This program of systemic destruction takes place while the state of Ohio hypocritically states that it encourages strong family ties. It's bad. And that no conjugals means rape. That's what happens in prison when you ain't getting no conjugal. Many people in prison have not had the benefit of loving home environments. All along, the state has acted as a surrogate parent. These people are what you would term as being state raised. Yeah, it's most of us. From early childhood on, I think it is these persons who make up the bulk of the prison population, at least in Ohio. It is a deliberate crime, and it is unfortunate that we live under a system that conditions people from childhood to be locked up so that the system can maintain control. It really is sad. And it's sadder that black people send their children to these schools that condition them to be prisons. It's the schools in New York City, especially the high schools, they're basically mini prisons. Anyway, back to the reading. If you have a family or anyone on the outside to support you in any way, then consider yourself very fortunate. Do all that you can to maintain and build upon those relationships. Communication is the key. Regular letters, telephone calls, and visits will help. Always report the positive happenings in your life, admit past mistakes, and let go of old resentments. Always show your appreciation and love for them because they need that too. A strong support system can carry you a long way. Let's go to another section. Physical health. Your physical health. Prison will destroy you physically if you allow it to. It would seem that its purpose to make you grow old, run you down, and cause you to suffer from ill health. Knowing some steps to take, it says protect your physical being, or should be can protect your physical being, will help you get through prison. Oh, knowing some steps to take, and it should be and protect your physical being will help you get through prison. Okay, it just says A. Prison is a dirty place. Most prisons are old. Some date as far back as the Civil War period. The drab conditions of buildings and overcrowding make prison a fertile environment for pests, rodents, and disease transmitted by human contact. Physical cleanliness is essential. Always be clean and groomed. This is the first step in keeping yourself healthy while in prison. Personal cleanliness enhances self-esteem, plus it makes a positive statement to others about you. Concrete on the total cleanliness of your immediate living environment, bed area, cell, etc. Always keep dirt and dust to a minimum. Now, I'm sure at some point in our lives, most of us have had some contact with those brown cousins, and prisons are full of them. But learn to be intolerant of roaches. Oh, brown cousins. I never heard them called that. If you roll over and see one crawling up the wall at 3 a.m, then get up and kill it, along with rodents. They carry all kinds of diseases. Physical contact is nearly impossible to avoid because of the close proximity of others. Probably one of the first things you will realize in prison is that everyone isn't clean. Some people are just downright funky. Besides filthy habits and bad personal odor, common disease carried by others could range from TB to AIDS. When it comes to TB, watch what you touch and never drink or smoke after anyone. If you are in a cell with someone else, then keep a window cracked at all times to maintain an airflow. Avoid constant coughers. Abstain from the use of cigarettes, coffee, and all drugs. Those things are bad for us health-wise. Besides that, you don't want anything that is habit-forming, something that you just gotta have. The first thing each morning. The use of habitual things robs us of our independence. We need to develop independent thinking for when we get out. Habits stifle growth toward independence. Food is life. Most food in prison isn't food at all, but what I call filler. It has no real life substance in it, and it is used to fill our belly and fill your belly and keep you quiet and complacent. It keeps canned. It comes canned and dehydrated, then usually gets boiled beyond taste or fried. The meat is usually ground up because of its inferior quality. Lots of potatoes and plenty of pork. Pork is the worst meat for human consumption because it's full of parasites. You'll find that because of the food, people in prison suffer from many stomach ailments. As a general rule, eat less and you will be better off. That's really sad. Let me get some water. I put blueberries in my water. Some wild blueberries from the pantry. Fresh air and sunlight is essential to life. If you have access to movement outdoors, then stay outside as much as possible, even during the winter months. Get lots of sunshine and breathe in as much fresh air as you can. Also, it has been proven that the sun has a positive effect on human emotions and physical health. That's true. Physical exercise each day will keep you in good condition and help to relieve stress. One of the best things that we can do is stretch. Stretching keeps the body flexible, and some form of martial arts would be beneficial. Prison can be an unpredictable place. Anything could happen, so it's best to keep yourself ready. Getting proper rest at night is important. Prison can preserve your youthful features because you aren't constantly on the go as free persons are. You can walk out of prison not having aged much physically. Proper rest with regular exercise and a good diet will carry you through. Always get a good night's sleep. I can't imagine if you're in a cell with somebody that's always possible, but I guess it depends on the cellmate. I'll be back Sunday to read some more. I don't know what I'm going to read next week yet. I don't have the book yet. I might read from the book I got from the library about Black people in Puerto Rico. Black People's Prison Survival Guide by Abdullah Ibrahim, 2003. And support the podcast, support the videos, hit the links. You go to Patreon, you get a lot of videos on my Patreon page. You get classes and class notes. I just did a class on Black Confederate soldiers. Very proud of it. Not a class. 5 classes, on Black Confederate soldiers. 5 videos and 5 sets of class notes. So that's on my Patreon. You have to be a member. A 3rd tier member for that. Until next time. Oh, and I have a support group on my Patreon page. Very good. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and be safe.